Asante, Anthony. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. We really appreciate your presence as well for participating in this webinar, because we're about to dive into topics we normally don't discuss about. We are heading into the festive season. So let's use the chat for feedback, because I really appreciate a lot of feedback. We all know that it's the season. Munaanza kupata tu message. What are your plans for Christmas? Sikukuu umejipanga aje? How many have gotten those ones already? From Hope. Yeah. And you normally, I think most of you know what the next question is thereafter. Can you please write in the chat after you ask what your plans are for Christmas from home? Please write in the chat what is normally the next question after you say, oh, I don't have any plans, because they have no idea that you're about to go into a rotten shift. As an example, not everyone does, but yeah. So that's number one. Number two, what we're trying to do right now is during our meetings, we decided to first raise awareness in terms of mental health, targeting the festive season. You know, I think you all know this one about how we always post beautiful photos of ourselves in front of the Christmas tree. And people back home have no clue what you even did to put a Christmas tree there. They have no idea what is the backbone behind it. They have no idea how you sweated, even if it's just a Christmas tree. And you probably sent money back home for them to buy the mbuzi, but you know yourself, you're not going to eat the mbuzi yourself, but you send money back home. So I also would like feedback as to how that feels. More, they're busy celebrating back home. You've sent money for them to enjoy their mbuzi back home, but what have you done with your own Christmas? And especially in Europe, you normally have either the first day of Christmas, the 25th, as an off day, or the 26th. Thereafter, you start running again. So now next to the next point. Given that I'm a business travel consultant, I work with airlines, and there's always something that's triggered me. When you're traveling, I mean, we're all in Europe. That means we came with a plane, right? And there's always been this flight attendant that normally stands in front of you, waving her fingers like this, right? Does everyone relate? And then she puts on this thing, and then most of us ignore her. But you know what always intrigues me is when that flight attendant talks about the oxygen mask. I think most of you know when they talk about the oxygen mask, they normally say, even if you have kids, put on the oxygen mask yourself first before you even put it on your kids. Why? You have to be stable enough to help the next person. Right? So that is what we normally forget. So back to the Christmas spirit, because we're too busy running around and caring for everyone else, because that is how we were brought up. That is the foundation of how we were brought up. We forget ourselves. The best thing we can do is send a nice photo of ourselves during Christmas wearing a nice Christmas dress in front of a Christmas tree. But your family back home has no clue. They are busy eating goat. All you did was take a photo. Does the message hit home? So now the next question is, what are we going to do to change this? And by the way, clause does not mean that everyone goes through this, but we're quite, maybe 85%. And now I want some feedback. So
Somebody got very true.
So the message to take home. What are we going to do to change that? Please keep the flight attendant person, not person, the one. You remember when you got on that plane to come to Europe? Yeah, she said something. Always remember that one. Okay, Dorothy, give me feedback, or someone.
Somebody else.
The person that wrote wow, true. Oh, yeah. Oh, Caroline Pau. Please say something, but she's in Istanbul at the moment. That one I know.
Say that again. Say the question again. Repeat the question again. So if you have forgotten it
Yeah,
again.
does it hit home the relation about with the flight attendant that says first put on your mask, the oxygen mask, before, even if you have an infant, first put on your own mask before you start. And you know, okay, like a mother, for example, when you've just given birth and you're flying with your infant, your first instinct will be first put the oxygen mask on your baby and then put it on yourself. But they actually literally instruct you, put the oxygen mask first. And I still remember the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, that's really selfish. No, it makes sense, because there's no way you're going to be saving people's lives if you're not saving your own first. Yeah. So back to the question about where I started from, this thing of, by the way, do you have plans for Christmas? Mpango ni gani ya Christmas? Most of us can relate to that question. Most of us, you already know when you get that question, and then you probably have not even heard from this person since Easter. And then Christmas, hi Kuzo, hi sis, hi bro. Mpango ni aje Christmas, unakuja nyumbani. And then the next one is utatuma pesa ya mbuzi, for example. Yet, if you think about it, if you do the mathematics financially and psychologically, maybe ako ka pesa ulituma from Easter, you could have saved it and bought yourself a ticket already to go eat the mbuzi with them. Does it make sense? I'm more mathematical at the same time.
It makes sense, huh? Yes.
Yeah. So, what the target of this whole meeting is to break that stigma, to break that whole idea of, it's one thing we support people back home, but let's not forget ourselves where we are in the diaspora. And it's cold, it's dark. You know, some of us only have 4 hours of light until Easter, perhaps, maybe March, May. And like you mentioned, Dorothy, the highest season for suicide and stuff is in February. And no one knows. Back home, people normally think January, oh, school fees, what. They're not aware. Even us on this side, we're also sweating. By February, because you've not had enough sunlight, short day. So you leave your house when it's dark, you come back home when it's dark. You drive out to, or get into the train when it's dark, and you still come back home when it's dark. And that is normally also why you get cases of domestic violence. So you have cases that actually develop as we're speaking at the moment during the festive season. And then in February, it becomes realistic. Either suicide, domestic violence, those things happen a lot. Drug addiction as well normally gets triggered around February, March, because people have had enough of no sunlight and, you know, basically depression. And the worst part is no one knows where to run to. You don't even see yourself getting there yet. You don't even know where to seek help. So by this, I will let Eunice take over